Okay. Hello and welcome to today's Talk, Learn, and Connect. My name is Michelle McKenzie. I'm a care coordinator for the New York City area for ALS United Greater New York. Our topic today is what's in your phone and in your computer, readily available technology. And our presentation today is by Ben Lieman. Ben is the ALS Greater New York Assistive Technology Specialist and manages our accessibility services, which include home accessibility assessments, providing information and support for assistive technology, and manages the equipment loan program for durable medical equipment, communication equipment, and assistive technology items. Ben has been with the organization since 2011. He has a master's degree in social work from Columbia University and an assistive technology professional certification from the Rehabilitation, Engineering, and Assistive Technology Society of North America. We are so happy to have Ben doing this presentation for us today. Today's presentation, as you can see, is in webinar style, so there is no chat function. However, we will have the Q&A available. So as questions arise, please put them in the Q&A box, and Ben will stop periodically, and I will ask him questions that are there so that we do it in chunks during his presentation. So enjoy the presentation, and with that, I hand it off to Ben. Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. Good afternoon, all. So today's presentation is on items that you have available in your phone or computer. There's so much in there already. This presentation really is to highlight that. I'm going to change my screen so that you can see what I'm referring to. So I'm going to kind of present the topic overall at first, and then I'm actually going to demonstrate live on an iPad, things that are available on an iPad, iPhone. Some of these features are available on an Android phone, as well as a PC and a Mac computer. This presentation comes about as part of our accessibility services here at ALS United Greater New York. Our accessibility services comprises a number of programs. Michelle made reference to some of them: our equipment loan program, our home accessibility assessment program, and our communication and assistive technology information. These are the three people that comprise the work that we do with accessibility services. Aaron heads up our equipment loan program, and Tejal does most of our home assessments. You will probably have a few questions after this presentation. I'm going to try to address many issues, but certainly not all, and anything that I address, I'm sure that there will be additional questions. There actually are places you can go related to all of the functions, or all of the different components that you might be utilizing: Android phones, iPhones, iPads, PCs, and Mac computers. This is a starting point. To be honest with you, often when I call, they're not so sure of the answer themselves, but they always will bump it up to another level of somebody a little more knowledgeable than the person who's answering the phone. It's better to go with a specific question, like you've given something a try and, I plugged the switch in, but it's not working. They will walk through those types of things. But to ask a general question like, how do I do switch scanning? That might be a little broad and involved for them to address. So those are the types of questions to start with us. We will help get you started, and hopefully that'll be enough. But if you have additional questions, you can reach out to us. But here are some ways that you can continue to get help from the specific manufacturers. So why are we here? We're really here because the smartphone is, everybody has one almost, and we use them for so much of our daily lives. So to begin to lose some dexterity in our hands or fingers really puts a crimp on our ability to interact with our world in a way that we've gotten very used to. Any hand limitation is going to have a significant impact on these common activities of texting, viewing photos, surfing the web. I just was with a family gathering who's from out of the country coming to visit. And the first thing we did was reach for our phones and show pictures of the family. To their credit, all of these companies, Apple, Google, Android, Microsoft, have made significant changes in accessibility, most of which most people are not even aware of. So that's what I'm hoping to touch upon today and just notch that understanding up a little bit and offer you an opportunity of knowing where to turn to if it's not something that may be of use now, but possibly of use down the road. Please give us a call or an email. As with anything that involves movement or positioning, yes, you're going to get some ideas here. You'll be able to implement many of them, but keep in touch with your OT, PT, and speech therapist. There are going to be times, and we're going to touch upon it, where you can separate the mouse movement from the mouse click. Typically, that's in one unit, and there's a lot going on in the dexterity required for that to occur. But you can separate those and move the screen to a different location. So that might accommodate your positioning. It might be more comfortable for your positioning, but you really want to have be in touch with your therapist to make sure that what you're doing works best for you. All right, so here we go. 3 overall functions of interacting with computers and phone. There's the full touch, which is what is common, that you are touching the screen, you're swiping, sliding your finger along the screen, you're pressing a home button, you're pressing a volume button. There are even multiple finger gestures that you can do with sliding with 2 fingers or 3 fingers. So the objective of this presentation really is to introduce you to the other means of interacting with these same computers and phones through either limited touch, where yes, you may still be touching the screen, but not as much, or there may be components, add-ons that you can use that help minimize your use of the screen. And there are features within the devices that help minimize using the screen or a mouse. And then there are some features where there is no touch. I'm going to touch upon voice as no touch. There also is head movement and eye movement that can enable you to interact with computers or iPads and phones. I'm not going to touch upon those today. But each of these categories does enable the use of a smartphone and a computer for someone who has diminished hand and finger dexterity. So here's what I'm going to be covering today. So the touch, everybody knows, and that's the common way of interacting. And what I want to have occur is that moment where somebody looks at somebody else and says, you know what, I can't use the phone anymore. I want that moment to happen later. And these are the ways that I think that that can happen. So I'm going to start with assistive touch. All of these features happen in the settings menu of any of the devices that you use, and then you go to a section on accessibility. Windows 11 now uses the term accessibility. Windows 10 used a term called ease of access. And there were a number of features available on Windows 10, but some have been enhanced in Windows 11. So what I'm going to do is actually start to introduce some of these features, and I'm going to start with assistive touch. The objective of assistive touch is you don't have to interact with the buttons that are on a phone or iPad, volume up, volume down. Some of the older phones and iPads have a home button that you press. That required a lot of pressure to activate. So assistive touch skips the need to interact with those buttons. Also, swiping in a controlled fashion, you do typically have to slide your finger across to swipe left or up or down, and that can be a difficult movement. Assistive touch can incorporate that into simply touching the screen, and it will do the swiping for you. So I do have to swipe up to get to the settings menu, and it's already in, but I'm just going to show you in accessibility. There are different features of accessibility. We're going to spend most of our time today in the physical and motor features that they have addressed. And I'm going to go to touch, and assistive touch is off, and I'm going to turn that on. And right off the bat, it introduces us to that assistive touch button. Here it is, and I can slide it up or down and place it. It will stay anywhere on the edge of the screen. So I'm going to leave it down here. And the first use of assistive touch is under the single tap option. And I'm going to program it to just go home. So by just clicking home, I've reprogrammed the assistive touch button so that when I touch it, it brings me to the home screen. That itself removes any need to touch any of the physical buttons on the side of the phone or iPad. So I can go to photos. I have photos here. Yes, I do need to swipe to go to another photo, but I can go back to the home screen by touching. Okay, not sure why that's occurring. Somehow my assistive touch button got programmed to do something else. This is why they say don't actually do technology presentations live. Let me see if I can figure this out. Well, that did not go well. Bear with me, I apologize. Okay, so somehow my assistive touch button got activated as pinch. Let's try again. It's now activated as home. And if I go to photos and highlight one, I can swipe and I can press the assistive touch button and it brings me home. Somehow, I think as I touched the assistive touch button the first time, I unintentionally pressed pinch button. So I can go to my book app, scroll through different books, open one up. I'm done looking at books and go back home. So that's in its simplest form, the use of the assistive touch button simply to go back home. But wait, there's more. So now, instead of going home, when I touch the Assistive Touch button, I'm going to have it open the menu. And what I'm going to do is create some items to go into the menu. I'm going to just slide the Assistive Touch button up, and I'm going to make room for several options, one of which is to go home. Another option is going to be volume up. Third option will be volume down. And the fourth option is going to be a menu of the different scroll options. Up, down, left, and right. So I've now reprogrammed the Assistive Touch button. I'm just going to come off of this page, and if I touch Assistive Touch, it opens up to the 4 areas that I have selected. I could have up to 8 options. So here's my home button. It brought me home. I can now go to my photos, but instead of swiping, if that is of difficulty for me, I can go to Assistive Touch, choose scroll, and here's scroll right. It puts a button on the page and it does the scrolling for me. I did not slide my finger across. I'm just touching this button and it's scrolling for me. So now I'm going to go back, scrolling left. Right, so I can do all of this scrolling, Assistive Touch to go home. I'm just going to do the same with that book app so that you can see that I can do the scrolling in different locations and on different parts of the same page. So I'm going to go left here and then back home. I've already programmed in the volume up, so it's a touch. And just by touching the screen, again, I don't have to go to the side of the device to touch the buttons to change the volume up or down. And I don't have to swipe down in the corner. So this is Assistive Touch with a few basic features that are commonly used. Just touching the screen closes the Assistive Touch and it just sits there unused if I'm doing everything else on the screen until I need the Assistive Touch. Michelle, are there any, I just wanted to kind of check in. That's the initial.
There are currently no questions.
Okay.
If anyone has any questions, please feel free to add them to the Q&A box at the bottom of the screen.
Okay. So next stop is adding a mouse to the iPad. So the iPad uses a USB-C port for the charger, and that's where I'm going to plug the mouse into. Some of the older iPads have a lightning attachment. It's a different type of charger. So you would just need an interface or an adapter for the device that you have. So I'm plugging in my USB-C to USB adapter. And I'm plugging in a mouse. And here it gives the cursor so I can move through the screens. I can go click on photos again here. I can choose scroll, right? and I can go home. So that's adding a mouse. This is just a standard mouse. It could be a Bluetooth mouse, um, but it does require clicking. There is a switch interface that I can add. So I'm going to take the mouse out and add a multi-port USB connector. And I now have a switch adapter attached to a switch. So what I'm able to do, and this is the switch that I'm using. It's called an ultralight switch, about the size of a pinky, and a nominal movement. You can just see it's just a nominal movement that will activate the area that the cursor is on. So plugging in the mouse to the multi-port USB. So I am able to go to different locations with the mouse, and then I can click with the switch. What this does is I have the mouse being activated with my left hand and the switch being activated with my right hand. It could be my right foot. It could be behind my head. So here I've been able to separate the mouse function. Instead of clicking on the same apparatus as I'm moving the cursor with, I'm moving the cursor with the mouse and clicking with my other hand. So I can get to scroll. I can scroll right. And all of this is done with separate movements. So it may not be the hand. I might be turning my wrist to the right, and the switch can be Velcroed in place near where I can turn my right hand into, if I had more capability with my left hand to move the mouse. These are the types of discussions that really would be beneficial having with your OT or PT. But be aware that these are inherent in any iPad or iPhone, and to some degree, an Android. You can use a mouse, you can attach a switch, but you can't get the scrolling capability on an Android, and that's one of the limitations. Um,
Ben, two things.
yes.
One, someone has asked if you can pull the camera back a little bit so that we can see the connections you're making. And yeah, that's a little, yeah. So I can,
Well, okay. So, all right. That's fair enough.
okay.
So here's the adapter, the USB-C adapter, and then here's the multi-port. I guess I have to just move that over. Actually, I have a photograph. I have a photograph coming up that will show all of these connections.
Okay. And also, can you attach a magic touchpad to the iPad, which would not involve clicking?
Not sure. Not sure what the magic pad is.
Okay. So maybe Stephanie wants that. You can add more to that question. We can circle back. All right. Thanks, Ben.
Okay. Okay. So this is mouse, separating the mouse and click with a switch. And then I'm just going to add one more component. I'm going to disengage the multi-port, which I wouldn't need, by the way, if I had a USB mouse. But I'm going to plug in, and here you can see a trackball. that already has a switch attached to it. So the trackball comes with the switch attachment. Let's see if you can see, what the trackball is doing is, let me get off of. All right, so I'm home. So here you can see that by turning the ball on the top of the trackball, I'm moving the cursor up or down. It might be 1.5, 2 revolutions of the ball on top, so it's limited movement there. And then going side to side, it might be 2 to 2.5 revolutions going all the way across the screen. And then I can utilize the switch that's attached to it over here to activate where the cursor is ending up. And so here's volume down and volume up. All right, so that's the use of a trackball. We have trackballs in our loan closet as well as these switches. I'm disconnecting the trackball now. And now one more feature to show with the assistive touch, and it's going to go back to just having the mouse attached. So I'm plugging the mouse back in. So I'm back to the mouse, and I'm adding one more feature. So I do have to get to settings, and towards the bottom of assistive touch is dwell control. And I'm turning that on. And it's asking me, do I want to add dwell control to the menu that I had created previously? It didn't give me a lot of time, but the answer would have been yes, if it let me. Now, dwell control is already working. What dwell control does, leaving it there, you should, let's see if it's over here. You should be able to see the cursor has a line going around it that's basically indicating time. And I think I have it set for 2.5 seconds. That's how long it takes before it activates a location once I've stopped moving the cursor. So I'm going to go back home. I'm highlighting the assistive touch button. And after 2.5 seconds, it opens it up. I'm going to go to home. That cursor is turning and it brings me back home. So I am not touching a switch. I'm not clicking on the mouse. It's automatically clicking after 2.5 seconds. That timing you can adjust. My suggestion is start longer at first, get used to it, and then start to shorten the time that it is delayed before activating. So I'm just going to show you the scrolling feature. Again, I have it set for 2.5 seconds, scrolling to the right and scroll from here. Wasn't far enough. Scroll to the right, right? So it brings me to my other page, and the same thing is going to apply to changing the volume. I can just have the volume go up or down without clicking. I'm just hovering over the location so long as I can move the cursor with either a mouse or a trackball. I'm going to go back to my presentation. I think it's left. And here it is. Okay, so just want to make sure I covered everything here. Yeah, so just in review, there's the on-off of the assistive technology of the assistive touch button. We started with single tap only to just have it go home, and we added more features to a menu. And instead of just going home, it opened up a menu with different options. And then I introduced you to Dwell, where for the most part, you can operate the system with just moving the cursor, whether that's with the mouse or the trackball. And I'll just go to my next slide, and then I'm going to turn this feature off. And I'm just going to turn Dwell off. And go home and back. So assistive touch. So everything I demonstrated is readily available on an iPad and iPhone. Um, the assistive touch features on an Android is more limiting. Um, there is a menu option where you can activate a accessibility menu, and what it will do is place this little person figure at the bottom right corner of the phone, and by pressing it, it opens up the accessibility menu. And they have built into it volume up, volume down, power, things with the buttons on it. There's a screenshot option. By just touching the button of screenshot, it takes a screenshot instead of having to press the two buttons that is normally the case. And so there is the accessibility menu, and then there's an option to create the shortcut, and that's what places this human figure on the bottom. So for assistive touch, everything about assistive touch is built in. I then added some of the other mechanisms of moving the cursor using a mouse or a switch, separating the mouse functions so that you can move the cursor with the mouse and flick with the switch, and the switch can be placed at another location where you have controlled movement. And you know what, I demonstrated the trackball, which can be used with the dwell feature also, or with the switch as I demonstrated it. The key that I want you to take away here is that we're looking at ways of separating the use of the mouse, minimizing the need to press buttons on the devices or swipe. So it's diminishing the physical requirements of interacting with the devices. And I've already demoed the mouse and trackball. And here are pictures of what it would look like. So here's just the mouse with the assistive touch button on the screen. Here's the multi-port where I have the mouse plugged in and the switch plugged in. And then here's the same thing with the trackball. And I haven't been identifying, but there does need to be the USB adapter for whichever system you're using. Michelle, any questions?
Nope, no new questions.
Okay. Using a mouse on an Android, yes, you can, but you can't click on a button that enables you to scroll. So that is one of the limitations that you have. The Mac and PC both accept the switch adapters. I use Swifty. It plugs into a USB port, and then the switch plugs into that switch adapter. Um, the Mac has scanning. I'm going to demonstrate scanning in a moment. The PC does not have scanning available, but the primary use of the switch adapter would be for the mouse click. So you can separate that mouse function of moving the mouse, moving the cursor with the mouse, and then clicking with a switch with either the other hand or another body motion that can be controlled. So the next function I'm going to demonstrate is often in the field of assistive technology called scanning. On these devices, it's called switch control, and it basically highlights different groups of options that you might want to choose from. And then when you click the switch, it then highlights specific items in that row or in that group of items. This is called switch control. And I'm going to demonstrate that. So I'm removing the mouse. And plugging in the switch. So again, this is the switch that I'm using, an ultralight switch. And to get it started, I get to the accessibility menu, go to switch control. I'm going to go through the features that I'm utilizing after I demonstrate switch control. And I'm realizing I have to turn off assistive touch first. And now switch control is on and it's already starting. So I can all right, I may have turned it. All right, another moment of adjustment. So hold on. Okay, I had the wrong switch in. So here is scanning. It's highlighting a number of options on the screen. I want to get to the home page. That's on the top row. So when that top row is highlighted, I'm clicking my switch, and now it's going to highlight each item in that row. It just got me home. I also have the opportunity to do scrolling. So there it's that first one. And I'm going to scroll left. So just open that option, and now I'm scrolling right. I'm going to go back one more to the left. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Wait, go one more to the right. And then close it. So here it is scanning my home page. So basically, the system is touching every location that could be activated if I touch that location with my finger. I'm waiting until what I want to select is highlighted and then clicking this ultralight switch. So here I am again in photos. and I can scroll through the photos that I have, going to the left, going to the right, and then I can come back to my home page. I can go to a communication app. And this is one form of scanning. So obviously it takes a little time. This is a section of pre-programmed phrases.
Please be patient while I write my message.
And there also is an alternate way of selecting in scanning by having this vertical bar go across the screen. So I can choose selections this way. And then once I've selected the vertical location, I can cross it with the horizontal location. And a lot of people do complain that this takes longer. Now I'm going to just show you, I missed the letter I wanted, so I just wait.
Do. You. Like. This. Weather. How do you like this weather?
Okay, so again, this is a demonstration of getting around an iPad or an iPhone. Android has this as well. Can I get back to, let's see if I can activate it. Yes, missed. All right, so I'm going to turn this off. Well, let's see, I can. Okay, so what just went on? Just to review, um, we added a switch. This switch was the only item that I was touching, that entire section. I was able to open up different apps. I was able to utilize the communication app that we have on our loaner iPads. Um, and these are the components. This is what makes it, it's not complicated, but it's involved to set up. Um, there's a shortcut in case somebody gets stuck within the switch process. There is a shortcut that somebody can utilize to exit out of switch control. There was a point before this presentation that I added the switch to. So there's some steps you have to go through to add the switch. The scanning style is auto, meaning it was continuing to go to the next location, to the next location, to the next location, waiting for me to make the selection with the switch. That is called the auto scanning style. And it has a timing to it. How quickly does it go to the next one? So 2 seconds is about average. You can make it go slower. I would suggest if you wanted to try this, you would make that time slower. But ultimately, you potentially can make it go faster once you're familiar with the nature of scanning. Loops is how many times it goes around the same section until it realizes, oh, you're not ready to make a selection, and then it stops, and then you click the switch and it starts up again. Tap behavior is on auto tap, which means when I click the switch, I want you to select that location. And you time it, how long it activates. I have it down, it activates 1 second after I click the switch. And then there is a secondary menu that comes up that 1 second gives me time to click the switch a second time. And that gives me an additional menu where the home button was. And then finally, group items is on. Without group items, for example, if you had the alphabet and you needed the letter T, it would go through the A and the B and the C and the D, right? It wouldn't be grouped. And then it would take an excessive long time to get to everything that you want. So grouping items, you just have to anticipate what group the item you want is in, select that group, and then it scans each item in that group. So switch access actually is available on the Android. It is a downloadable app that you would need to do. And within that app, it actually does have the scrolling capability. The versatility of the Android, not as great as the iPad and iPhone, but again, where someone may otherwise not be able to access any of these devices, the scanning feature might be a way with one nominal movement to be able to have access to the phone. And what do you need for that? You need the USB adapter that plugs into the switch adapter, and then you have a switch plugged into that, or you could have a Bluetooth switch connected as well. Any questions, Michelle? I just want to make sure I'm covering.
So there is a question. I think you're about to maybe go into part of it, but I'll ask the question now so that you know it's here.
Okay.
I've been able to create an AI voice for my pals, and I can create phrases that use that voice. Are there Apple or Android apps that would enable my husband to use these phrases to indicate his needs to us? He has limited use of his hands and voice is almost gone.
So it depends on how he created the voice. So obviously this is a little more, I'll try to answer it in general so that everybody would hear this. But if it was made on an iPad or iPhone, it should be transferable to other iPhones or iPads or even the Mac. If it was made through, a lot of people use Bridging Voice to work with, or the Gleason Foundation to assist, and they have a way of creating a voice and then using it on whichever system you're going to use. It just creates a different file if it's going to be on an iPad or on a Windows-based computer.
And for this particular question, it was with Bridging Voice 11 Labs.
Yeah. So they'll know where it can be placed and how to make that download happen. Yeah, 11 Labs, common vendor now being used for voice banking. And just to clarify the question, the demonstration that I did using the communication app on the iPad, that was not a person's voice. That was in fact, that was one of the original voices made many, many years ago. The name is Ryan. Um, and there are, many existing voices that are understandable, human sounding, where you can use any communication device with these pre-programmed voice files. The benefit of voice banking is that when the device speaks, it's using a voice file you created, and the voice would sound more like you. But in terms of the use of a communication device, the technology is such that you would still be understood using a communication voice. It just would not sound like your voice. Was there anything else?
So just to clarify that exactly what you just said, the app demonstrated could use the voice we created if it was through 11 Labs.
I don't know if the 11 Labs are transferable to an iPad or iPhone. So that is, Bridging Voice. They've worked with Bridging Voice. They will know whether it's able to be utilized on an iPhone or iPad.
Okay, thank you.
So the voice control feature built into iPhone and iPad enables you to pretty much get around the entire system by just using voice. It does require, clear, understandable speech. So this would be if you can not use your fingers to manipulate the screen. Voice control does it pretty effectively if the voice is clear. This also applies to Android phones as well as Mac and PCs. So it's a fairly universal accessibility feature. With PCs, it needs to be on Windows 11. Windows 10 does have some uh, capabilities of voice access. It's just a little more limited. You can still get around and do a lot with your voice with Windows 10, but it's not as versatile as all of the other devices.
And just to
All
let
right.
you know, time-wise, we have about 5 more minutes left. No questions in the question.
Okay. Just in time. So let me turn on the voice feature, voice control. And I'm touching that button to turn it on. And I don't know if you can see up here, there's a blue button. The first time you're using this feature, that takes 20 or 30 seconds to download a couple of files. I've used the system before, so it comes up pretty quickly and it is ready to go. I'm not touching the screen. There's no items connected, and I'm just going to use my voice. Go home. Open photos. Scroll left. Scroll left. Scroll right. Scroll right. Scroll right. Go home. Show numbers. Tap 17. Tap 13. Scroll right. Scroll right. Go home. It's as simple as that. I'm going to come back. Tap 19. just going to turn off voice control. It's asking me to confirm. I'm touching the screen and it's turned off. So real quickly, in just a couple of minutes, I demonstrated some of the key commands that you would use to get around the screen, get to any app that you want, scroll up, scroll down, scroll left, scroll right. There is a Bluetooth head mouse where it's also no touch. By moving your head, you have to have good head control for this to be able to move a cursor on the screen, and with the assistive touch button programmed with Dwell, that's how you would use that. And then, we've all heard of eye tracking capability, also, readily available on communication devices. To apply eye tracking is a little bit more complicated. It's not ready for prime time for iPhone, iPad, or Android, but there are uses of it from manufacturers on computers that you can either use for voice or to navigate around the internet or desktop. I'm just going to go through these last slides quickly so we're all within the right time. Yes, there are locations to contact if you have any additional questions. Just real quickly to mention that in our area, New York, New Jersey, organizations that work extensively with assistive technology are Rusk Institute on the east side of Manhattan in the 30s, and Bridging Voice, extensive assistance provided by both of those organizations. We have a variety of accessibility services that I hope you make use of, including assistive technology, but expanding to significantly more than that. I'm going to come back on screen. I thank you for your attention. I can stay a little longer if anybody had any questions or comments. And I hope this was helpful and introduced you to some thoughts, examples of utilizing technology that you might not have been aware of before.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ben, for the presentation. And as Ben said, there's additional places to ask for help, including us and our regional team. So reach out to your regional team if you have additional questions, and then they will shoot them to Ben or other places around to assist you, like the clinics that you attend. Thank you so much for attending today. Have a wonderful rest of your day.